everything shown at Sony's big hour-long PlayStation
So I
showcase.
was going to start with this, but I want to start with something else.
Okay, cool. Tell me. What do you want to start
Naughty
with?
Dog, because that's
Yes,
more of
okay.
a weird one to me. So during the PlayStation showcase, I would have put money on there being Naughty Dog talking about their live service game there. You know, the Last of Us multiplayer title that has been in development for now like 4 years.
A long time, yeah.
Naughty Dog was not there. And I think everyone was like, what's happening? What's happening? So yesterday they just put out a very inconspicuous tweet kind of saying they're still working on it. They're incredibly proud of the job, the development progress, blah, 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 but it's still going to take time. And it was kind of a weird thing because it kind of just came out of nowhere.
Yeah.
Like no one seemed to be asking. Turns out people were asking. Good old Jason Schreier put out a article on Bloomberg shortly afterwards, basically saying that the team has been drastically reduced on the game because of basically as the studio starts reassessing what the game is. And it turns out that comes after Bungie, who is now owned by Sony, came in to evaluate the progress on the game, as Sony has asked them to do. They basically bought Bungie so that they could lend expertise to all of these live service efforts, since Bungie's been doing it for like a decade now. And Bungie's assessment of the Last of Us multiplayer project was that it lacked the ability to keep players engaged for a long period of time. And for something that is a live service game, that is obviously critically problematic. So Jason Schreier is basically saying the team has been scaled back. According to people at the studio, asked not to be named. A small group remains on the project while the company reevaluates the direction. While the game has not been cancelled, many of its developers have moved to other projects. Greg Miller from Kind of Funny tweeted, "This game is going to be cancelled." I tend to agree with him.
True.
If you've moved most of your devs onto new projects already, as you reassess, I think the eventuality of that reassessment is this is not working and we move on. And which is not a bad thing. More games should be cancelled.
Yeah. But
like then you spearhead them on just because of the fact, you know.
But even if they do reevaluate and go, we can make this work, it's then how long is that going to take?
Ages away. Yeah.
It's like
this is not anytime soon. I don't know. Yeah. I'm curious because I know the last time we heard about this was it Summer Game Fest last year? Neil Druckmann was on stage and he says they're working on this. That's where they showed off some art for the first time.
Yeah.
And then he also let slip that he was already thinking about a new IP. So do they just go in on that now?
I think it's time. Like I wouldn't say no to Last of Us multiplayer, but I think when your key IPs have been The Last of Us and Uncharted for more than a decade now, maybe it is time to try something different. I don't know.
And you've spent 4 years on this, and now you're kind of like being like, okay, well, we're reassessing the whole thing, and while we're reassessing, we're not doing any work on it.
Everyone take a load off. We're gonna have a small team. Looking at this, the rest of you do nothing. It's cool.
The only thing that I think could be a spanner in this is Sony's like real insistence to do live service now. Like we'll get to it in the showcase, but it was very evident that sort of business model is now becoming their focus. I mean, they've said they want to have like X number of live service games by 2025. This one was probably one of the first wave ones. So if this isn't coming out, you know, do they forcibly go, it has to come out, we want to push in this direction? Or do they go, okay, Naughty Dog knows what the fuck they're doing, let them work on what they are, typically known for? So I don't know. Interesting times.
Yeah, if you're a Last of Us fan,
you can tell us.
You're live on the show. no pressure.
What the fuck's happening with this game? Yeah.
Yeah, but I mean, I suppose, I guess we'll see. I think it'll be a new IP, obviously, at some stage. And I tend to agree. I don't think...
I think if
a multiplayer does happen, it's like a lifetime away if they've gone back to the drawing board. So...
Yeah. No, this is not a thing that comes out in the next year or two.
No.
Like if they're completely reassessing it, then unless they find a solution, unless in a couple of months they go, wait, I figured it out. We do this, we do that. We can definitely use what we have already. You know, this is okay.
The Last of
Sure.
Us 1, did that have multiplayer? It
It
did
did,
have,
but it was more like a competitive factions, yeah.
yeah,
So this
I don't know.
started life as factions, and then it
Yeah,
grew into its own thing, you know?
yeah,
So, I don't know.
I don't know. But I mean, it does
Should
let us, jump off onto why we got to the story in the first place is Sony's big hour-long PlayStation showcase. So, knee-jerk reaction, well, out the gate, this is meant to be like Sony's E3. It's E3, not E3. Here's what's coming to PlayStation. My knee-jerk reaction is that, and I'm not alone in saying this, there was a very severe lack of first-party stuff, which is very strange, given that this is meant to be your, hey, here's what we're doing for PlayStation in the next year or two. We've got, look at all these games our own studios are working on. And then the reality, I think, correct me if I'm wrong, there were like 3 first-party titles, and
there
2 of
were like
them,
3 or 4 games in total that were exclusive, and only like 2 of them were first party. So
yeah, which is just like, okay, like, don't get me wrong, lots of third-party stuff, but yeah.
It was just weird because like Jim Ryan started the show being like, we are in year 3, or we've had 3 years of the PS5, and like these years have kind of been carried by a lot of the games that were
already known,
revealed and spoken about when the PlayStation 5 was launching. So, you know, that era has kind of come and gone. So this was meant to be the like, you know, what are we doing for the next 2 or 3 years?
Got
And
nothing.
I don't think we really got a kind of idea of what to expect beyond this holiday season for PlayStation, which is kind of weird.
Look, unless this doesn't mean like we're not going to see any other state of plays or showcases late in the year, but it's just weird that June is like its premium reveal season. Maybe we've just been trained to think that way. Like it's E3 time, we're going to get all the big stuff. Maybe Sony does have something planned for September, for example. Like here's a first party state of play, or like another showcase. I don't know, but it feels like this showcase had huge expectations, and I don't know, the pacing of the show was weird. There was some cool games shown, but I think overall people were like, okay.
No, it was. I think it was underwhelming. You know, at first I was like, you know, am I being too critical? You know, there were a lot of games, and a lot of them did look good or whatever. But like Eurogamer put up a very good piece, being like, this felt underwhelming from a first-party perspective.
Yeah,
and
definitely.
I can't escape that. It's if this had been a Microsoft show, they would be getting the exact same criticism for like, where the fuck are your games? You know what I mean?
Well, all this does is that it sets up Microsoft for what could be a killer showcase.
Microsoft has the opportunity to really steal some of the oxygen from here and be like, okay, you dropped the ball. Look at us. They've got to deliver now. They really do. I don't know.
It's year X.
Those sorts of plans are set in stone
saying,
already.
Please, Xbox, deliver. Well, let's get into it.
Yeah, let's get into it. So the show started off with a brand new IP. It is the new game from Haven Studios, led by Jade Raymond. This is essentially the very first indicator that yes, Sony is getting into live service. This is you can tell, sort of like a PvP live service shooter thing with the veneer of like teenagers who are angry at rich people. It felt very Watch Dogs. It almost looked like Watch Dogs.
Also thought Watch Dogs, yeah.
I don't understand why it would be like, okay, you are going to a rich person's house to steal something. Oh, but there's another group of people trying to steal something, so now you're going to fight them. That was strange. But again, it was just a really big CGI trailer. We have no real indication of how this game plays or how it works. So I don't think people weren't really impressed with this, and I don't think I wasn't really impressed with this.
Yeah, it's one of those things where it's the mood board stage of like, hey, here's the mood of this game. Here's what it's gonna feel like to play it. What does it look like? We don't know.
Who the fuck knows?
Who knows? Cool. Well, that's
also, I feel like this sort of narrative hook that it's got has been done to death already.
Yeah.
So it just doesn't feel novel or interesting at this point. So yeah.
Let's see.
Helldivers 2. This is kind of cool. It had been leaked a while back. I think the biggest surprise here is that it's not like an isometric shooter. It's more like a third-person shooter.
Yeah.
So it's a completely different style of game. But it seems to still be very focused on cooperative shooting, where you like hunting down aliens. It's out next year on PS5 and PC. So this was another like exclusive.
Yeah.
I mean, at this point in the show, you're like, okay, 2 exclusives. Yeah.
Cool.
And then it just.
Yeah.
So then we got a trailer for Immortals of Avium, which is the like EA published magic shooter that's coming out in July. This game's out in like 6 weeks. Why did it have like 5 minutes here? Like it just.
I don't know. I also thought it was a bit weird because like we've seen this game
many
you know what
times.
I mean? Like
it's I just don't understand.
Yeah.
Got a reveal then shortly after of Ghost Runner 2, which is pretty cool. Ghost Runner is a rad game.
I've never played it.
I think you would very much enjoy it.
I'm sure I would.
Like Mirror's Edge and Blades. Yeah.
With bikes now, apparently.
with bikes now too.
Yeah.
Ghost Runner 2 is out this year. It's out on pretty much every platform.
Nice.
This one was a weird one that people seem to like enjoy. Phantom Blade Zero, which is like a third-person action game.
I thought this looked pretty cool.
It did. It reminded me a lot of Sekiro. Kotaku says it reminds them of Ghost of Tsushima as well. It's made from a Chinese studio. Apparently, this is like building off of some lore that they've established in many mobile games. But this is their first kind of like big console game that's coming to the West. It looks cool. I didn't get much else from it other than the combat looks crazy fast. And also very stylish.
Yeah, it's one of those things of like the combat looks very stylish, but how does it feel to play the game? Like, does it actually let you do the stuff that we're seeing, or I'd be very interested to see that in action.
I don't know if this is coming to other platforms. It's not a Sony studio. But I don't think it says.
No,
I think
it just says coming to PS5. It doesn't actually say it's not coming to other.
That was kind of most trailers. Just says coming to PS5. You know.
Yeah.
Then we got Journey 2.
Yeah, basically, if you're watching,
I was watching this. I was like, wait, are they really doing a second Journey? Like, and then I was like, oh wait, no,
this opening scene though is like Journey 2.
Yeah, I mean, look at those columns in the sand. I was like, oh my god.
And then it cuts to like day. I mean, even this character, like, it's not quite Journey, but it's the same sort of like style.
Yeah.
And then it cuts.
Well, I mean, it's from Giant Squid Games, which is led by the artist behind Journey. So
then it cuts to this like you busy surfing through the desert. I'm like, this is Journey 2.
Fucking sick. It looks so cool. I mean, Abzu is a great game. You know, under the water. The Pathless is phenomenal. You should definitely play the Pathless. Like that is a game you will absolutely love. Almost certain. So now this is called Sword of the Sea, and it looks like you are just going to surf on sand.
Do some tricks while you're at it. How cool is that?
Sick. Down.
Nice.
Looks great.
Yeah,
Keen on that. Awesome. That's coming. I think. No, there was no like release date. But these games have been on pretty much every platform, even on Switch. So Talos Principle 2 is out.
Could you hear Neelan shouting with joy
puzzle game
from the States?
Lots of people who love Portal love Talos Principle, so it's cool to see that it's getting a sequel. That's in 2023.
Nice.
You ready to cry? Because there's a new game from the creators of Gree called Never, and the trailer made me want to cry. It was so sad. Holy shit.
As far as mood boards goes, like, oh my god, you cruel studio.
I'm ready for you to absolutely destroy me.
It's like, it looks great though. Like, I don't know, we've got no indication of gameplay and stuff, but the actual style, man, it's gorgeous.
It's out
very sad. Holy shit.
Out in 2024.
Yeah.
Cat Quest, which is sort of like, I think the first Cat Quest was very much like a Zelda-like. I'm not sure if this is the same, but there's a new one called Pirates of the Caribbean. I hate it.
I love it. Take my money.
It's coming to PS5 and PS4. It's out in 2024. So
Nice.
it's got a cool style to it. Do you think this will come out before Skull and Bones?
Yes. no doubt about it. Then we got Splatoon. I mean, Foam Stars.
This was the point of the show where I was like, what is happening? What is this show? Because we've had multiple indies, and yes, they look really good, but I'm like, we get here, and I'm like, we are halfway through this fucking thing. What is happening?
I laughed when it showed Square Enix. It's like, oh wow, okay, cool. Like, is this...
When I saw that and I saw the gun, I was like,
yeah,
is this a fucking another Devil May Cry?
Yeah, like, it's like, okay. But then it's the super serious trailer, and then it's like, no, it's basically Splatoon where paint has been replaced with water and bubbles.
Foam, yeah.
Foam. I mean,
something about the name Foam Stars just rubs me the wrong way. It's just
it's almost like
also, man, just watching on your screen now, that transition from CGI to gameplay was it looks so bad.
It's not quite the same thing. Look, no. I think it could be a fun game, but it's just hilarious. It's completely unexpected. Foam Stars, nice.
Kotaku says, how long will the servers hang around after release? I say not long.
Shame. Hate to see it.
The Plucky Squire, a game that mixes 2D and 3D visuals in a wonderful action fantasy adventure that can't come out soon enough, according to Kotaku.
This game looks really cool.
Looks cool. Yeah, it does look cool.
It reminds me...
Again, it's weird. Like, a lot of the games that they showed looked cool. Like, a lot of the indies especially looked cool. They're just not what I would have expected from this show.
No.
I would have expected that from a state of play, not a this is E3 to show you the future of PlayStation 5. You know, Jim Ryan's like, we have got an assortment of games to show you why you bought a PS5, essentially. And this doesn't scream
this
that,
is why I bought a PS5, the Plucky Squire.
No. Teardown is coming to PS5 later this year.
You reviewed this, right, on PC?
Well. Yeah, I love this game. It's really fun. It's like a voxel-based heist simulator. It's really fun. This is going to melt your console. The physics simulation here is nuts. It brought my PC to its knees at times. So how they're getting this working on a console is beyond me.
Sorcery.
It's a fun game. I highly implore people play it because it is like a sandbox where you've got missions, but the missions are very open-ended. You kind of solve them in your own way, and the sort of things you can pull off with physical reactions are insane. Yeah.
Nice. Cool. I mean, we've got Metal Gear Solid Triangle.
Another CGI trailer. We got confirmation that they're remaking Metal Gear Solid 3, and they're calling
it Metal Gear Solid Delta. Leaked or whatever for a while now. I mean,
got literally nothing else except we saw Snake, and it was like Metal Gear Solid Delta, and then we got the cool theme song, which was great. I love that.
What a thrill! I laughed. I was like, come on. Look, it's I'm all for this, but the naming really confuses me because I'm like, okay, it's Metal Gear Solid Delta, which is the fourth letter of the alphabet for a game that is third. Like, it's got the 3 in the name, but it's also the first chronologically. So I don't know what the logic is, and it upsets me.
The Delta symbol is a triangle which has 3 sides, Matthew.
Of course, how could I forget this? Can't wait for Metal Gear Solid Circle, then Square and X.
Metal Gear Solid, Metal Gear Solid 1 is basically Metal Gear Solid Circle because it's one.
There you go. Metal Gear Solid X will be 2 because it's just 2 lines.
Metal Gear Solid Square
will be 4. Oh my god, we've nailed this. We've cracked the code.
Yeah.
Hilarious.
Metal Gear Solid Pentagon for 5.
Nailed it.
There's no release date on that.
No.
Microsoft also made it very clear it is coming to
their
Xbox.
platforms. Yeah,
so,
which is hilarious.
It is not an exclusive. It's also coming to PC, I think. So
yeah. This game looks cool. No idea what it is though. Towers of Gasper. I don't know.
It's apparently a survival game.
Okay. Nice. Okay. Who knew? Looks cool.
But another look at Final Fantasy 16 again.
Yeah.
Like, we don't need another trailer for this.
No.
It's out in like a month.
Yeah, at this stage I was like, okay, we know this is coming.
It looks fucking great though. Looks, and I guess Sony had to show this because it is exclusive to their platform. It is,
but
only on PS.
There've been so many trailers for this now. It's out soon. Why even slot it into your your hour-long showcase.
Yeah.
This is pretty cool. We got
Alan Wake
finally
2.
a look at Alan Wake 2. I think what is most surprising about this trailer is that Alan Wake is not the only playable protagonist in this game. We have
Yes, yeah, that was quite surprising.
we got a new character. Her name's called. It's gone from me
Cannot
now.
recall that. Yeah, but she's a FBI agent hunting
It's not
Alan Wake
Sage.
after the events of the first game, and Alan Wake looks like a mad hobo. Also, we got good old Sam Lake in the trailer. Yeah, when I saw that, I just lost.
I love
was
like it's Sam Lake, a Sam Lake character written by Sam Lake, who's probably not called Sam.
Maybe he's just called Max Payne.
But yo, can you imagine that? You know, because I haven't played it, but I know Control has an Alan Wake DLC or whatever, which
Yes.
I imagine is like, oh hey, it's all takes place in the same world. How funny would it be if in this game they're like, yeah, we needed some extra help, so we got Max Payne to come.
Special Agent Max Payne is joining on the investigation.
Fucking hell. This game looks great. I can't wait.
I'm very fucking keen. I mean, they've gone all in on survival horror. They made that very clear when they announced the game. You know, the first game is more action oriented. This is survival horror.
Yeah.
And this is out soon. It's October 17th. That's not that far away.
What a year for horror games.
They did say that all the footage shown was running on PS5. So that's pretty cool. Because it looks great. It looks really good. So, yeah, I'm keen on that. That's also coming out on PC and Xbox.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Then we got a look finally at Assassin's Creed Mirage, which looks like, for all intents and purposes,
like
an OG Assassin's Creed. No, it's not Odyssey or Valhalla Origins. It's like it's OG. This is what the first trilogy of Assassin's Creed looked like.
I'm keen on it, eh? I think it looks great. I know people like it looks maybe visually a bit dated. I think that's fine when it's got so much color and style to
but
it.
There is something, not like weird's the wrong word, but there's something about the visual style. I'm like, I don't know. It's like it's not realistic, if that makes sense. Like there's almost they've like toned it down on that front a bit, if that makes sense. It's almost like stylistic.
Yes.
Yeah, I'll play it. I mean,
it looks great. Yeah,
Assassin's Creed Valhalla was the first Assassin's Creed like I actually played. So I've got like a huge gap of everything before that. I'd be keen
this
to play
being more of a stealth, like open-ended stealth game, I'm fucking in on that.
Yeah. Cool. Revenant Hill, which was
what a weird game.
Because like, I saw this and it looked to me as like, this is,
I was like, Night in the Woods 2?
This is Mia from Night in the Woods. 100% same cat, but she's not a character. She's running on all fours like a cat. And there are some, I think there's a part here you actually see the bear as well from Night in the Woods. Like, what is this game? And you said, I think you found an article which says it's a different game, but it's like same characters.
Yeah, so no one, I think, knows for sure. So it's definitely developed by the same studio as Night in the Woods.
Yeah.
Glory Society. And it's about a cat named Twigs, so it's not Mia.
Yeah.
And the cat is trying to become a witch's familiar, which is kind of cute.
Oh, that's cool.
But it's called Revenant Hill, but there is this suggestion that it is connected to Night in the Woods somehow.
To me, it feels like, I mean, even looking at this lockup now visually, I'm like, that also kind of looks like Night in the Woods.
It would be weird for them to use such an identical art style, a character that looks identical, like, and not link it. It just seems strange.
I almost feel like this is going to be a prequel that will have some catastrophic event that explains why Night in the Woods has animals walking around and living normal lives.
The exact same thing. Yeah.
We'll see.
Grand Blue Fantasy Relink. I don't have much to say about this. I don't know. Anime.
This one also made me scratch my head. Street Fighter 6. Why is it here?
This game is out in 2 weeks.
It's literally out in the same month. It's like a stone throw away. We know. We've seen Street Fighter many times. Why did it get a 2-minute slot? I don't understand. That's there. Cool.
Ultros, cool. This kind of looked cool. The visual makeup of this, it was like an LSD trip almost.
Yeah, I was going to say there's something about
this looks really cool.
So the gameplay looks cool, like kind of looks like a Metroidvania. Cool. But I think the visual aesthetic is something about it. It's too much color. Maybe that's intentional.
A lot of color.
It is this LSD trip, but there's just so much going on. I'm like, oh my god, it's too much.
It's almost difficult to like pass what's part of the world and not.
I'm like, I don't know how I feel about that, but I mean, it looks cool. Like, I'll give them that. So we'll see.
Dragon's Dogma 2 got sort of like a sweeping look at the sequel. No release date, but yeah, looks
look
cool.
at this. Look at this Khajiit.
I think you'd enjoy this game. Because it is more like a mixture of Dark Souls and Monster Hunter. So I think you would I mean, there's a diehard fan base for this game. So.
100. But it's weird that it got a sequel because all I know is that good friend Garth
did not enjoy it.
Hated it and infamously gave it a 4 out of 10, which is hilarious because when the sequels
it didn't get great reviews at launch. It was like a good 6 out of 10 at the time.
But I'm saying like it's funny that he also didn't give it a great score, and everyone's like, oh, like 4 out of 10 from Garth.
Yeah,
damn,
it's not that bad.
I mean, I think it carried weight, particularly because Garth is a role-playing connoisseur. Like, he loves the genre.
Yeah.
So for him to be like, oh no. But yeah, the sequel's coming. Then we got
the VR segment, the very limited VR segment.
Five Nights at Freddy's.
I'll put it this way: if you were hoping this show would kind of like help you latch onto some hope that Sony's really going to support the PSVR 2, that they did a poor job of that.
This is not it. They need to follow this up with a state of play dedicated
VR focused,
to PSVR 2, because we've got like there's some cool stuff here, like Resident Evil. Yeah, Resident Evil 4 VR mode. That's very cool. Like, I'd love to.
We also knew that was coming, so that's not new.
Coming.
Yeah.
Arizona Sunshine 2, which
this game, man, fuck. The first game was like one of the very first VR shooters, and even then it felt old. I'm just like, why? Listen, I don't know.
There it is. Crossfire is pretty cool, I think.
Yeah, Crossfire's serious, but I think Jeff has said he's played this on PC and it's pretty good.
In VR. Cool.
Shooter. Synapse was the only cool thing. I thought it was like some weird otherworldly shooter thing. Looked kind of neat.
The thing is, like, it looks like an interesting shooter and an interesting premise for a story. Like, it's got a good mix between the two. When this opened, it reminded me so much of Deathloop. Because you're walking on the beach. Visually, it kind of looks similar in terms of colors and that. I was like, hold up, what's going on? And it's like, no, it's not at all related.
Do you imagine Deathloop in VR? My God.
Oh God, you'll vomit.
And then Beat Saber's getting a Queen pack. That's about
it.
That was all the VR.
That's it.
Oof.
And then
let's fly through these last few because we are way over.
Marathon.
Bungie's reviving Marathon. So that's cool.
No idea what the game looks like, but stylistically, man,
another CGI trailer. The website basically says it's a PvP extraction shooter, so it's another live service gig. Funnily enough, not exclusive to PlayStation, despite Bungie being owned by Sony now. This will be coming to PC and Xbox as well.
Can I tell you, I still stand by the fact that I think it's almost more viable to, I know it's owned by PlayStation, but I honestly think it's more viable to release multi-platform because you give your game to a bigger audience and you reap the profits regardless. Like,
absolutely.
I do think there is all this talk about Xbox, like the exclusives will never go away, but I still think like Call of Duty and the Blizzard stuff, if that deal goes through, like, why would you make it exclusive to Xbox? We'll see. We'll see.
No, I agree. I think for a live service thing, that's totally fair. Yeah.
We got
Destiny 2, the final shape. Destiny 2's next and last big expansion. I wonder if they go Destiny 3 after this. Basically just a teaser because this is getting its own showcase in August. Darren was happy.
I know this is Cade. No idea who the hell Cade is. Everyone's like, oh my God, Cade. It's like,
Cade,
cool.
6-shooter Cade.
Nice. What is this? Concord?
This was the game being developed by Firewalk Studios. This was another exclusive. But yeah, it's like a PvP shooter, also a live service game.
Nice. Another mood board.
Release window of 2024. That's about it. But again, nothing to really glean. Again, there was no gameplay for any of the first party things.
No.
Aside from how
Spider-Man.
Helldivers.
And
and Spider-Man, yeah.
I did laugh
It's
because by this part of the showcase, Shyamalan's like, "Cool, we basically done. Here's some hardware," and it's like 30 seconds to a minute. Okay, maybe a
the
bit
most
longer.
flyby of this hardware ever. It's like almost like he's not really confident
He's
in it.
like,
He's like,
"Oh,
yo,
yawn.
check this Project Q out. It's a handheld gaming device built on streaming. Okay, moving on. And
We've
it
got
was like, wait, what?
earbuds."
Like, yeah,
It's like, and we've got earbuds. Cool. Now, anyways, bye.
the handheld streaming thing, I still do not understand what the purpose of it is, because it says requires a PS5 and a Wi-Fi connection, so it's just Wi-Fi streaming. Tell me why I should buy that as opposed to just using the laptop / tablet / phone that I fucking already own. Like, I just don't understand what.
Who the target? Like, I think there's a target market, but I do think it is such a small audience.
It's tiny. Why buy a device that is singularly locked to one purpose when you can already fulfill that purpose with a device that does so much more that you already own? You already have it. Like,
It's one room
I just
away.
like, why did Sony co-brand all of those backbone controllers that you use for your phone for PlayStation 5 streaming if they were making this thing? What,
I
like,
don't know. Who the hell knows?
anyway,
Yeah.
the end of the show, Spider-Man 2.
Nice.
Game looks great. Game looks fucking awesome.
It looks
I'm
great.
so keen.
I'm very keen. Like, they revealed a lot in this trailer. Like, straight up, hey, Venom's there. Peter's got a Venom suit on, which I think in our Discord, Jeff pointed out. I think we've all had this concern of like, what do they do in Spider-Man 2 to make Peter interesting? Because after playing Miles Morales, you're like, Peter's going to feel
Miles'
like
moveset was so much better.
yeah, like way more fluidity, far more exciting. Well, here's your answer. Peter's got a Venom suit, and Venom looks real cool.
And it seems you'll be swapping between Peter and Miles
a
quite
lot.
frequently.
Yeah.
Someone pointed it out, but I didn't notice it at the time. The like right piece of the UI is like your common spider abilities that are shared between the two, and then the left one was more your specific ones, like Miles's electricity attacks, and then when it switched to Peter, it was your Venom attack. So maybe that's how they're segmenting the control scheme.
Yeah.
I did not like the UI. I think the changes to the UI look bad.
Yeah, it's like they've gone way more stylistic, but I don't know. It feels
the way it moves while you're fighting.
Yeah,
it made me like motion sick. It was kind of strange.
Yeah, but I
game visually looks incredible. Like it was this moment here, if you're watching the footage when you're in the warehouse, like there's so many of those instances from the previous two games, and this one just looks so much better. You know what I mean? Miles also has this cool thing where you can like stick a piece of web to a wall and make like a tightrope, which is super cool.
Very cool. Yeah, they feel like they did a good job of showing, it's same New York, whatever, but don't worry, the two Spider-Men you control aren't just the same old, like they've got new gadgets. Yeah. The story's going to weave between the two of them. Peter's angry.
Yeah, he's quite, I mean, shock. Who was it? I think it was you that said, you're like, I bet the final fight is Miles versus Peter.
No, it wasn't me, but I mean, it has to be like.
Who said it? Mick? Jeff? I don't know. Darren, maybe? I don't know.
I did laugh.
But I could see that.
We were saying at the office, if they don't have a scene of Peter walking down the streets like Tobey Maguire from Spider-Man 3, we want our money back.
There needs to be a singing scene as well.
Yeah, and him like coming out the store, like doing that move.
Oh my God, remember that.
Please, Insomniac, make it happen.
I will put a bet now that Miles and Peter fight, and 100%. That Peter dies in this game.
You think Peter dies? You're hectic. I mean, yeah, because it's a thing of Spider-Man's a franchise now. They're not just going to be like, this is the last game. There's going to be a Spider-Man 3 and 4 and 5. This is a long-running PlayStation thing now. So yeah, where do they go next? I always think with games like this, with any sequel, I think, shit, okay, you threw everything in the kitchen sink to the first game. Now you've got to do better for the second game. What do you do for the third game and the fourth? Like, you have to keep reinventing. So maybe Peter's death is like a good story beat, to leverage off whatever. And then they bring Spider-Gwen in. Cool, sold.
Spider-Gwen, or you do Superior Spider-Man, where Spider-Man's taken over by Dr. Ock's body. But they've done Doc Ock, so that's boring. Yeah.
Cool, but yeah, a very packed, very mixed showcase. But yeah,
Again, loads of good games, just no real indication of the future of PlayStation based on those,
yeah.
So, should we fly through the rest of the news?
Last
Because
bits.
we are 1 hour 30 in already.
Yeah, we've got 7 minutes to wrap this up.
Alone in the Dark.
Oh, bam.
Alone in the Dark, playable prologue is out now. The reboot is out in October as well, so it's going head to head against Alan Wake 2, which is nuts. But yeah, it looks cool. It's got the dude from Stranger Things,
David Harbour, I
Dave
think it is.
Harbour. Yeah, that's it. And Killing Eve's Jodie Comer. Comer. So yeah, there's some money being thrown into this project. It looks cool.
Survival horror fans are feasting this year, along with fighting fans.
Absolutely
just
feasting.
So much coming. Let's just tick this
Prince
off.
of Persia. Yeah, is so remember they were remaking Sands of Time. It was announced a while back.
Yep.
And then it even got to the point where it had a release date. It was revealed in 2020 and anticipated release date of January the following year. It was delayed twice before initially shifting developers completely from Ubisoft Pune to Mumbai to Ubisoft Montreal. And now Ubisoft basically is just updated saying that it is in the conceptual phase again, and we shouldn't expect to hear more about it for a long time. So
yeah. Yikes. And then ending on some bad news for South Africans. There's a price hike coming to video games. And
yeah, I mean,
it's
expected.
Yeah, it's expected given the real shit exchange rates. But yeah, so according to Glitch, there's I just want to pull out one line here. According to new local listings for Diablo 4 and Final Fantasy 16, physical games in South Africa have officially edged to the 2,000 Rand mark. If you pick up the standard edition of Diablo 4, it'll cost you 1,999 for a copy on PS4 and PS5 and Xbox, which is horrendous. Like, holy hell, that's a lot of money. I think it's not in this article, but I think I did see Marco tweet out that for Final Fantasy, I don't know if it's for both, but I know for Final Fantasy 16, the local distributors will absorb the cost, so it's not bumping up yet. But yeah, thereafter, expect to pay big bucks for some games. It's crazy.
Yeah. I mean, it's expected. The exchange rate is doing such fucking wild things that like something's got to give at some point. So people always be mad and think it's retailers taking more profits for themselves. Like that's super not the case. They are actually paying more for the stock. So what do they do about that? You know,
this just makes things like Game Pass even more lucrative.
Yep. If you $2,000 a game versus what, 150 a month for Game Pass,
you could just pay a year's worth, get all the first party Xbox stuff, and
a year's worth of Game Pass is cheaper than a single game.
Yeah, crazy.
No.
But yeah, that is news for this week. A lot of Sony stuff. Yeah.